which team has the most pressure on them going into this game Sunday night? The Eagles or the Cowboys?
Go ahead, Cowboys fan.
Uh, uh, I think it's the Eagles. To be perfectly honest
Mm.
with you, I think the Eagles have more. You just got beat up by the 49ers. Like we got beat up by the 49ers, but that was like weeks ago. And I think Dallas has gotten better since then. You just got beat up, and now you got to travel to Dallas, who who's who's ready and kind of wants their revenge because Dallas could have very easily won that game a couple of weeks ago. Um, now, I think that there's a lot of pressure on the Eagles. You know, it's hard when you're on top because the thing about it is everybody's taking shots at you. You know, you're the defending NFC champion, just was in the Super Bowl. Right? David Carr goes on TV yesterday, I think it was, and said that they need to
Yeah, I
bench
was telling
Jalen
you about.
Hurts. They need to bench Jalen Hurts for Marcus Mariota. That's and Hurts is a little bit hurt. You know, he's got the calf injury or calf injury, and I think the Cowboys are going to want their lick back. You know, you beat us in Philly. Now you got to come to Dallas, where Dallas is playing outstanding ball. They're 15 straight game, 15 straight home wins. I think it's the longest streak home winning
Mhm.
streak in the NFL right now. So I think there's a lot of pressure on the Eagles because if they lose this game, you were the number one seed in the NFC last week, and now you might not even be the number one seed in your own division after this week. So I think there's a whole lot of pressure on the Eagles, and I think Dallas, kind of learned their lesson again. Like, I don't do moral victories. You know, I'm with the Shannon. I go to the Shannon Sharp restaurant where they only serve two things: dubs and L's. That's it. That's all we serve here is dubs and L's. So I don't do moral victories. Oh, we could, we almost did it, and we tried our best. I don't do that, but Dallas could have very easily won that game, and I think they're going to want their leg back. I think that place is going to be jumping. I know some people who's going to personally be there, so I'm going to say Philly. I'm going to say Philly.
Okay. Well, I'll go next. I think it's Philly as well, and the reason is because they have a one-game lead on Dallas. So if they lose two straight games, Dallas takes the lead. Dallas is first in division, and they can control their destiny in terms of the division. So, I think that as great as the Eagles have been this year, they're going to find themselves in a hole after two straight losses. Um, and I think the Eagles will feel pressure because of it. Like you said, it's in Dallas, even more pressure. So I don't think Jalen Hurts 100%, but Jalen Hurts is going to play. He's going to play because he finished the game. So if he finished the game over here last week, there's no reason he doesn't play this week. Um, yeah, I agree that the pressure is on the Eagles. And another thing is, no one expects anything from Dallas. Everyone expects Dallas to make the playoffs, but not to be what the Eagles were last year. And because the Eagles have been leading the division all year, no one's expecting much from the Cowboys. So I think the pressure has to be on Philly, but ultimately, both of these teams are going to make the playoffs.
Okay. I hate to say this, man, but I gotta be honest with myself. I think it's more pressure for the Dallas Cowboys because all season long, Yvonne basically has repeated it. Obviously, he said the Cowboys they beat teams we expect them to beat, but when it comes to the teams that we need to beat, we don't do that. Um, even if we just beat Seattle, people are still making excuse. Oh, Seattle's not a winning team. But if you beat Philadelphia, it's going to be a huge difference because I think more is on the line because the Cowboys are one game. They obviously they got the same record as the Niners. Niners got them head to head, obviously. If they lose to Philadelphia, they're going to be behind two games in them. basically they would sweep the Cowboys, snap the Cowboys winning streak at home also. And I just feel like if the Cowboys lose, everybody's going to be all over the Cowboys the next day. I'm going to receive all these text messages and phone calls, and people will just blow the Cowboys up for losing that game. Oh, it's what we thought the Cowboys were. They're pretenders. And I just think it's more pressure on them. And the Cowboys, they got this game dialed in. You could say whatever happened in Philadelphia, but I think in Dallas, I think it will be a different story. But I think it is more pressure for the Dallas Cowboys going into this game, just with everything that's on the line. I think if the Eagles lose, I think they could afford to lose, man. I don't think people will make much of a big deal if the Eagles lose outside of Eagle fans. But if the Cowboys lose, we'll never hear the end of it. So I think it's more pressure for the Dallas Cowboys, if anything.